I'm working actually from my iPhone right now because my Edsel took all the bandwidth for the data science. But anyway, so welcome to the 2020 induction of the PAASE members who were nominated and elected by the Academy on 2018 and 2019. This is the second edition of our induction, and we did this so that we could accommodate everyone based on their busy schedules. So just as an initial rules, we would like you to keep your phone muted during the ceremony so that we can hear everybody's names as they are called. And then at some point when we begin to read the oath, I would like to request the members who are present to please go ahead and activate their video and their sound so that they can read the oath with our President Giselle Concepcion. Okay, so we will let's get started. So as I mentioned yesterday or this morning, we are very excited to induct these new members and welcome them to the PAASE. And they have all distinguished themselves in their areas of expertise, irrespective of the length of time that they had actually carried out their research in their careers or the service that they have done to the institutions of the Philippines. And what you will see as we introduce them is that you probably have met many of them already throughout the 4 weeks of the symposiums. And they have shown their talents, their expertise. They have become chairs of the many of the sessions in the symposiums. They organize those sessions. Some of them are presenters in many of the exciting sessions that we have been a part of. So as I've mentioned that we had actually been looking forward to this gathering because it's the 40th anniversary of the PAASE. And this is one of those exciting APAMS that we wanted to bring together. We actually had one planned for the Philippines and one for the United States. But unfortunately, this pandemic had different ideas. But what we have also shown in the last 4 weeks is that the pandemic cannot dictate what we do, that we will prevail. As our president, Giselle, has always says, we will muscle through this, and we have. And so we've shown this pandemics that, hey, we will prevail over you, and you will not prevail over us. So in fact, when Giselle brought up this idea of a 4-week, month-long symposium, our jaws dropped and they're like, you said what? But many of us who had some misgivings from the beginning have really been proven wrong, because this have been some of the 4 weeks of excitement that was brought to all of us. The science that everybody has been doing has been really great. So a lot of our misgivings were misfounded, but what we have shown is that the enthusiasm, participation, and passion that everyone has shown, whether they were a presenter or a participant, has really surpassed all of our expectation. But most importantly, it showed us that the life and the vitality of our organization is something that is not something that pandemic could not dampen in any way, and that is who we are. So I actually have to admit that as we come to the end of the symposium, I will miss this daily gatherings. But what is really inspiring is that soon you will meet many of the individuals whose participation in PAASE will keep it vibrant, alive, and make PAASE the mechanism to promote science and technology in the Philippines and around the world by virtue of our engagement and collaborative efforts. And this is not just going to happen in the 4 weeks of the symposium, but moving forward as an organization. So with excitement, as we welcome our new members, I invite you as chair of the membership committee for this year to also invite new colleagues to participate and collaborate by nominating them either for a full or associate membership to PAASE. Because of the excitement that's generated by this 40th APAM symposium, we have actually extended our deadline for nominations to September 15 from the original deadline of August 31st. So make sure to send your nominations in. I will resend the call for nominations by email to everybody together with the nomination form. And please email it to me directly so that we have a centralized location for collecting these nominations. And as soon as we have collected this, the membership committee will meet and evaluate this, and then we will make our recommendations to the PAASE membership, who will then vote these members as part of our organization. So the other thing that I would like to say before we start our induction is to invite everyone to the business meeting that will take place, I think it's this evening, right, Giselle, at 8 p.m., August 13th.
Yes.
Yeah, so at this meeting, we will summarize the initiatives that the PAASE Executive Board had initiated in the past year, and also some of the accomplishments that we have pushed through in the past years. But most importantly, what we would like to do is to hear from you regarding your ideas on how we can improve communication, participation, and contribution to the science, technology, entrepreneurship, and R&D ecology of the Philippines. So that's the most important part, which will propel us as we move forward. Okay? So at this point, I want to also like to acknowledge the creative efforts of Doctors Isadora Yu and Dr. Hias Hunyo, both of whom will also be inducted today for the PowerPoint slides that are showcasing our new members. They made this by themselves with a very creative effort, and these will be posted to the PAASE webpage so that we can showcase our new members. Okay? All right, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Mariano Santo Domingo. He was chair of the membership committee in 2018, and he will present a short history of PAASE. Mario?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Mario, and I will be sharing with you some historical tidbits about PAASE. So PAASE, just to remind everyone, is a non-profit organization composed of us scientists and engineers of Philippine descent who have distinguished themselves in scholarly and research-related activities. PAASE was founded and incorporated in the US state of Indiana in April 23rd, 1980. It aims to promote the advancement of science, engineering, and technology, encourage collaborative work among scientists and engineers of Philippine descent in research and development through scholarly and scientific endeavors, support efforts that advance science and technology, and recognize and honor the achievements of scientists and engineers of Philippine descent. So it actually started with the initiative of Dr. Severino Ko, the first president or the founding president of PAASE. And it's so interesting that at that time, around 1978, he was looking for scientists among the Filipino communities, but couldn't find any. But in one day in 1978, when he was attending a wedding banquet, he met the three gentlemen named here, Dr. Pat Mangonan, Dr. Edgar Buico, Dr. Charles Melendres, and they formed the set of incorporators, and the rest is history. Dr. Ko was actually a third-year mechanical engineering student at UP when he was sent to the United States in 1946 as one of the first pensionado scholars. And then he came back to the Philippines, and then soon after, he again came back to the US and he became a professor at Purdue University at West Lafayette. So he actually wrote this history of PAASE and was published. And if you're interested in reading the history, I can share this with you. He was actually a graduate at Arroyo Boys High School in 1943. And you will find this story of PAASE, the seeds of PAASE, very interesting. So one of the milestones of PAASE is its inauguration a year after it was incorporated. So in 1981, it was held at Silais Hotel, Manila, and was attended by top ranking members of the cabinet then, the Secretary of NSDB, the Secretary of Education, and also the President of NAST at that time. The first set of officers, so Dr. Ko is the founding president, the founding vice president is Dr. Jose B. Cruz, and the founding secretary and treasurer was Dr. Linda Gutierrez Bartolome. And these are the founding members, 21 of them, most of whom were faculty members or alumni of universities in the Midwest. So as you can see through the years, the membership of PAASE grew because Dr. Ko moved from one university to another until in 1983, he moved to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, which is close to Washington, D.C., and therefore his association with scientists, for example, at NIH or NSF, Department of Agriculture, and many other federal agencies actually expanded. One other milestone of PAASE is the establishment of the Founders Lectureship Awards in 2000, which was converted into the Severino and Paz Ko Lectureship Award in Science in 2004 upon the death of Dr. Ko. And then they added the awards in engineering in 2008. Another milestone is the founding of PAASE Philippines and the election of the first Philippine-based president, Dr. Alvin Culaba, in 2007. This year, we had several constitutional amendments, which, among others, mandated that the term of the president be extended to 2 years, not only 1 year as it stands right now. And then, of course, the very exciting 40th PAASE anniversary and APAMS 2020. These are so far the awardees of the lectureship awards. The first ever awardees were Dr. Baltomero M. Oliveira and Dr. Alfredo H. Ang in 2000. And right this year, we're Dr. Danilo Tagle for science and Dr. Just Santos for engineering. A very important milestone I've already mentioned, 2006, is the PAASE campaign in Philippine Congress, the Senate, and Executive Branch, which led to the establishment of the National Science Complex in UP Diliman, and more funding in DOST for MS and PhD scholarships and research and development projects. Because of this effort, many PAASE members also started coming over to the Philippines under the DOST Balik Scientist short-term program to serve as consultants or advisors. And these are the past presidents, 37 of them. As you can see, the ones highlighted in red were original founding members. The first ever woman president elected was Dr. Victoria C. Guerrero Abellera in 1998. Again, in 2007, Dr. Alvin Culaba, the first Philippine-based president, was elected. And currently, we have Dr. Gisela P. Concepcion. These are just some pictures taken in Manila in 2019, the last face-to-face APAMS that we had. And we look forward to more of these occasions. And finally, our current 2020 PAASE officers, Gisela Concepcion, President, Edsel Peña is the Vice President, Lourdes Harold, the Secretary, and Ana Cristina Sarquina, the Treasurer. And we have the 9 board of directors, members of the board of directors. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mario. So at this point, I am going to call on Dr. Diana Aga, who will give you the guidelines on how to become a PAASE full or associate member. Diana?
Yes, good morning. Well, those who are in the US, and good evening to those who are in the Philippines. And it's really exciting to finally have this official induction. I was the membership chair of the committee for 2019, and we didn't have the induction, but it's good that we are doing this now in the 40th anniversary of PAASE. So I just want to briefly let you know about the procedure and criteria for being elected as a full member and as an associate member. First, congratulations to all of you, because just to be nominated for this, you must have great accomplishments. And it's for full membership, it's a and associate membership, it is a requirement that you must have a doctorate degree, PhD, or equivalent in science and engineering. So that's one very good, number one requirement. And there are, to become a full member, there are 4 steps. So the 4 steps of being a full member is, first, you must be nominated by an active member of PAASE. And then the second step will be that you will be vetted by a membership committee. So it's not an automatic, if you get nominated, it's not automatic that you will get in, but there's actually a procedure to become a full member. So that the fact that you are here today, it's a great accomplishment. So the second step was to be vetted by the membership committee. Again, it's a requirement now that to be a full member, you must have a presentation at the APAMS, which I know most of you have already done for the associate members. And then the last step is that you have to be elected by 60% of the active PAASE members. To be a member, members shall be restricted to scientists and engineers who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields through science, research publications, or technical achievements. These publications should include, peer-reviewed articles, patents, books, technical reports, etc. For the associate members, you are in your earlier career, so you must be within no more than 10 years from your terminal degree. But you also have the requirement to be a doctorate degree in science and engineering. To become an associate member, there's 3 steps. So first, you also need to be nominated by an active member of the PAASE, and then you will also be vetted by the membership committee to be nominated to the full members who will vote. You must get at least 66% vote of the PAASE. So that's the only difference is you're on your early career and you haven't done the PAASE talk at the meetings. So the PAASE bylaws describe associate members as individuals who have demonstrated ability to do scientific research and show promise to achieving distinction in some fields of science and engineering. So within 5 years, upon recommendation of the member, the associate member will be reassessed to full promotion to full membership. And you must become a full member within 10 years. Otherwise, we assume that if you didn't get nominated to full member, you probably lost interest and will not move forward to the full membership. So we expect the right. So anyway, for the associate member, we hope to see you to become full members by actively participating in all the PAASE activities, whether in the US or in the Philippines, or whether it's in person or online. And we would really want you to become a full member within the next 5 years. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Diana. And so with all of those, now that you know how to become a member, a full or associate member of PAASE, we in the membership committee look forward to your nominations for other members to become part of our organization, because the strength of our organization is defined by our members. And so at this point, what we're going to do is to introduce the full members. This will be done by Mario and Diana. And then after that, I will introduce the PAASE associate members, and then we will proceed with the administration of the oath. And then at that point, we will have everybody stay on the screen so we can take your pictures. So we have a screenshot of those who are present, okay? All right, so Mario, I'll give the table to you.
Thank you, Marge. So at this point, I'll be reading the names and their affiliations. And if you are here, you can say present or hello, or just wave your hand so that we can recognize you. I'll be giving some time for everyone to read what's on the slide, probably 10 seconds per slide.
Mario, I also wanted to say yesterday, it was really nice when your name was called, you turn on your video so we could see you if you're here and, say hi. It was really nice last night when we did that.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah, so please say hi to us and so we can see who you are here.
Okay, we'll start now. Dr. Menandro N. Acda. Dr. Acda is a professor at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Pia D. Bagamasbad, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Rinley Butch Cervera, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Good evening to everyone.
Hi,
Good evening
hello.
po. Hello,
Hi, Butch.
congratulations.
US.
Hi, Butch.
Hello po.
Congrats, Butch. Congrats.
Dr. Rex Victor Cruz, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Eva Maria Cutionco de la Paz, Professor of Pediatrics and Genetics, University of the Philippines, Manila.
Good evening.
Hi, Eva.
Hello.
Congratulations. Dr. Alnar L. Detalia, Professor, Central Mindanao University.
Hello, good evening from the
Hi, good evening po.
Okay. Hi,
Alnar,
Alnar.
thank you for joining us. Congrats, Alnar.
Dr. Rosalie A. Hall, Professor, University of the Philippines, Visayas.
Good evening po.
Rosalie,
Hello.
From
hello.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Dr. Desiree M. Hotea, Research Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Good evening sa lahat.
Hello po, Ma'am
Good
Des.
evening.
Des.
Hello.
Good evening. Congratulations.
Po.
Dr. Alisa M. Peleo Alampay, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Hi, good evening, good
Hi,
morning.
Liza.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. Congratulations. Dr. Michael Y. Roleda, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Rodelio F. Subade, Professor and UP Scientist, University of the Philippines, Visayas. Dr. Zenaida Sumalde, Adjunct Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Hello, everyone.
Hello
Hey,
po.
hello.
Danny,
Hello.
thanks for joining.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dr. Franco Teves, Professor, Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology.
Hello, good evening po sa lahat.
Oh,
evening.
good
Oh,
evening.
maraming salamat. Kamusta kayo dyan?
Thanks for
Hi,
coming.
Frank.
Salamat.
Congratulations. Dr. Eric P. Vejerano, Assistant Professor, University of South Carolina.
Good morning and good evening.
Hey, Eric.
Congratulations, Eric.
Kamusta?
Congratulations.
Okay lang.
Air quality.
Dr. Michael Velarde, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Isadora Yu, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Medel Manuel Zulueta, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Hello po, kumusta po kayong lahat?
Adele,
Hey,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
congrats.
Dr. Inmaculada B. Aban, Professor, University of Alabama at Birmingham. Dr. Maria Carmen Ablan Lagman, Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Henry A. Adorna, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Marcus A. Agustin, Professor, Southern Illinois University. Dr. Percival F. Almoro, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Evangeline C. Amor, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Victor Amoroso, Professor, Central Mindanao University. Dr. Rowena Bacongis, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Erniel B. Barrios, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Emil P. Bolongaita, Distinguished Service Professor of Public Policy and Management, Carnegie Mellon University, Australia. Dr. Nora B. Caberoy, Lindsay Assistant Professor of Life Sciences, University of Nevada. Dr. Drexel H. Camacho, Professor in Chemistry, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Charlotte M. Chong, Research Professor, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Shunfung Anthony Chu, Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Edna Estefania A. Ko, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Gladys Completo, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Carlos Primo C. David, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Lilian A. de las Llagas, Commissioner, Commission on Higher Education. Dr. Elmer S. Estacio, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Edward Vincent S. Faustino, Associate Professor of Pediatrics, Yale School of Medicine. Dr. Ian Kenrich C. Fontanilla, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Remil L. Galay, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Nathaniel P. Hermosa II, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Diana?
Dr. Christine C. Hernandez, Professor and Director of the Institute of Chemistry at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Joel P. Ilao, Associate Professor, De La Salle University, Manila.
Hey everyone, it's nice to be
Hi.
here.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Joel.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congrats.
Dr. Jose Isagani Hanario, Associate Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Jose Florencio La Peña Jr., Professor, Philippine General Hospital, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Maria Carmela Lapitan, Research Professor, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Ireneo L. Litt, Jr., Professor and Head, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. May Lim, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Priscilla Macan Santos, Professor, University of the Philippines, Baguio. Dr. Pablito Magdalita, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Arman Salvador Mijares, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Christopher Monterola, Professor, Asian Institute of Management. Dr. Cleto Nanyola Jr., Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Mindanao. Dr. Prospero Naval Jr., Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Rique Nelias, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Joey Ocon, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Perry Ong, Professor, College of Science, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
We just want to note that this is actually awarded to him posthumously.
Dr. Isabelita Pabuyaon, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Carmencita Padilla, Professor, Chancellor University.
Hello,
Hi.
from Manila.
Congratulations.
I'm Enchi.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Dr. Brian Pajarito, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Juan M. Pulhin, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Jacqueline Romero, Senior Lecturer, University of Queensland, Australia. Dr. Arnel Salvador, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Annalyn Salvador Amores, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Baguio. Dr. Edsel Maurice Salvania, Director, College of Medicine, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Ana Cristina Cerquina, Staff Scientist, University of, NIH, Bethesda, Maryland. Dr. Armando Somintac, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Maricor Soriano, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Giovanni Tapang, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Francisca Tolete Velcek, Professor of Surgery, SUNY Downstate Medical Center. Dr. Aristotle Ubando, Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Magdaleno Vasquez Jr., Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Alray C. Villagracia, Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Edward Wang, Professor of Department of Orthopedics, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Krista Danielle Yu, Associate Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Diana. And so now I'm going to introduce and welcome the new associate members for 2018 and 19. Mario, can you share the slides for me? Because
Okay, I will open it first. I'm still opening that one. Okay, so it's like 8 p.m.
the 8 p.m. slide, yes.
8 p.m. associate members. Okay, I have it right now. Let me share screen. So 8 p.m. Oops. Wait, I'm going to go back. I thought I opened it already. Yeah, okay.
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 Okay, so I'm going to read and introduce the new associate members for 2018 and 19. Next slide. Okay. Dr. Richard Abendan, Chief of Party, USAID STRIDE Program.
Good morning and good evening to everybody. Happy to be
Hey,
here.
Richard, how are you? Welcome and congrats.
Thank you.
Dr. Juancho Colera, Associate Professor, Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, University of the Philippines, Baguio.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Oh, hey, welcome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Dr. Marlon Canato, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. May Ann E. Mata, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Mindanao.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello,
welcome.
congratulations.
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 Dr. Irene B. Rodriguez, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Erwin G. Abukayan, Postdoctoral Research Fellow, University of Oklahoma. Dr. Joel Adawe, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Baguio. Dr. May Joan Aguila, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Jericho Bacani, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Baguio. Dr. Emmanuel Baha, Institute of Clinical Epidemiology, National Institutes of Health, University of the Philippines, Manila.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Hello, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Congrats.
Thank you, Giselle.
Dr. Mary Donabel Balela, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Rodel C. Barrientos, Postdoctoral Research Fellow, U.S. Military HIV Research Program at the Henry N. Jackson Foundation for the Advancement of Military Science. Dr. Amy Cherie Barian, Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Lawrence Bello, Associate Professor, De La Salle University, Manila.
Good morning and good evening, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Hi,
Congratulations.
Lawrence.
Thank you po. Congrats.
Dr. Agham Cuevas, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Leslie Michelle Dalmasio, Professor, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Sarah Dawai Ducanes, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Ronald Del Castillo, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Lawrence L. Delina, Assistant Professor, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Dr. Cedric Angelo Festin, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Fiorillo H. Galivo, Visiting Associate, U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Dr. Marie Heffern, Assistant Professor, University of California, Davis. Dr. Francisco Heralde III, Professor, University of the Philippines, Manila. Dr. Carl Robert Handok, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Caroline Marie Haraula, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Hias Junio, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Angeline Lau, Associate Professor, De La Salle University, Manila. Dr. Julius L. Lianio Jr., Chief Science Research Specialist, DOST Philippines. Dr. Erica Phil Legara, Associate Professor, Asian Institute of Management. Dr. Maria Celia Malay, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Visayas. Dr. Candy Mercado, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Good morning po.
Hello, congratulations.
Congratulations, Candy.
Dr. Shara Nunal, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Visayas. Dr. Alan Abraham Padama, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Dr. Manisa Paderes, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Marjorie Paharon, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Susan Pancho Festin, Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Francis Norman Paraan, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Jomar Rabahante, Associate Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Hello po. Good evening.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Welcome and congratulations.
Jomar.
Dr. Maha Leia Ravago, Associate Professor, Ateneo de Manila University. Dr. Sheila May Santander de Leon, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Visayas. Dr. Gerald Tubay, Assistant Professor, University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Oh,
Hi,
good evening.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you po.
Dr. Benjamin Vallejo Jr., Professor, University of the Philippines, Diliman. Okay, so at this point, we have introduced all of our full and associate members. And so I would, Mario, if you could share the oath, I would like to invite Dr. Giselle Concepcion, our president, to lead the oath taking. Also, all the members who are present, elected members, can you please turn on your audio and your video so that you can participate in reciting the oath. And also we want to take some screenshots of everyone taking the oath. So
Mon, can you share the oath, please?
maybe Mon,
Yeah,
Richmond
can
can
share.
share the oath.
Thank you.
There we go.
Oh, love it.
Okay.
Okay, Giselle.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. Please join me in taking your solemn oath to participate in PAASE and show your commitment to all its projects and advocacies. So I'll start now. I state your name.
I, Well Baha,
Goals, mission, and
do
objectives.
Solemnly pledge to uphold the goals, objectives,
Objective,
Mission
Philippine American Academy
Philippine
of
American
the
Academy of
Philippine American Academy of
Engineering.
Science and Engineering,
full
PAASE,
member.
as
I
as a
pledge
full
to
associate
work
member
to the best of
To
my
work
Associate member
abilities and in
Let
a
to work
collaborative
my
effort
ability
with the PAASE
collaborative
executive
effort
members
with
of
the
the
PAASE
Philippines
executive
around the
members
world
in the Philippines
to
around the
promote
world.
the advancement of science,
Promote the
engineering,
advancement of
and
science,
technology
engineering, and
among
technology
scientists
among
and
scientists and
engineers of the
engineers of
Philippines
Philippine
and
descent.
to support
support
the
the
advancement
advancement
of
Support the
youth
advancement of
development
youth
of
and
scholarly and scientific
scholarly and
endeavors.
scientific endeavors, to
To
recognize
recognize
Recognize and honor the
the
achievements of
achievements of
scientists and
scientists
engineers of
of
Philippine descent,
Philippine descent.
most
and most
importantly,
And most
importantly,
importantly,
work to
to work to
increase the
increase the
development of
development of
science and
science and
technology
technology,
in the
Philippines and
Philippines,
training of
the training
scientists
of
training of
scientists
scientists
who will
to shape
shape
the
the
future of
future of
science
science and
and
technology
technology in
in
the
the
so help me God.
Philippines. So
So
help
help
me
me
God.
God.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Congratulations.
Yay. Thank you. Congrats.
Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations,
Thank you
everyone.
po.
We look
Welcome again.
forward to seeing you all in future APAMS meetings in person, face to face. And so if everyone
Looking
can please
forward
stay
to it.
on, I would like to ask Richmond to take a screenshot because I am unavailable to do that right now. Okay, have your best smile. Say cheese. Okay. Richmond, is everything going on?
Yes, ma'am. If everyone's ready, in 5 seconds, I'll be taking the picture. 1, 2, 3. Flash your best smile, please. Thank you. We only have just one page. Tapos na po ba?
Did you take all the pages? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
congratulations.
Any
to-
last words from Giselle? Any last words?
Yes, let's come together again tomorrow morning. And after a brief presentation by our officers, we'd like to hear from you. So we will tell you about our projects, review the ones that we've undertaken, and also suggest new ones. And we'd really like to hear from you. And because we're trying to grow the number of members in PAASE, and we know that we can grow it indefinitely because we are reorganizing the academy into clusters or communities, based on our areas of expertise and interest. So theoretically, there's no obstacle to growing the number of members. And we'd like to hear your suggestions on how we can implement projects within the clusters. So at this point, maybe some of you have something to say. So let's open the floor to anyone who has comments on how you found 40th APAMS so far. Well, personally, I thought it was very enriching. There's so much learning. There's so much I realize I don't know among our Filipino researchers abroad who can still be recruited to PAASE, and also appreciate the level of knowledge that they demonstrated in their talks. And I like the collegiality that was manifested in these sessions. I'd like to thank those of you who organized some of those sessions. And it is your session. You created it, you made it possible. And I hope you can keep those groups and continue holding meetings with them. So thank you. Anybody who wants to say anything? Perhaps our past presidents, Kay Aviso is here, Alvin Kulaba. Anybody else would like to speak?
Just congratulations to all our new members, and I'm looking forward to more active participation of all the members in our future activities.
Yeah, just the same for me. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome to PAASE. I hope you can sustain your active engagement with the organization. We've been there for one of the longest times, so we need more people. We need more people. So welcome to PAASE. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. As someone who joined not too long ago, I really found that it was a great way to connect with the Philippines and a lot of Philippine scientists of Filipino descent. So it was very encouraging and very inspiring, actually, to see all the good work that's done. And you are already doing it by helping with the sessions and organizing them. And so we hope to see more engagement. I guess Maria sent here about a reminder of membership fees. We do have membership fees. Yeah. And so that helps to support a lot of our activities. And the good thing about this online symposium is that we didn't have all to travel or pay a registration fee. So instead of that, you can just make a donation in terms of your membership fees. You can also actually fast track and pay a lifetime membership, so you don't have to keep donating, paying every year. I think for the Philippines, Giselle, you might help me on how much it is. For the United States, the lifetime membership is $400. So we have these. You can pay directly with the codes that's on the screen, showing on the screen right now. And so we have this program for raising funds to support many of the activities that we have. We made it very easy for you to do it. You can just scan this code on your phone, and then it'll take you straight to the PayPal site where you can pay for the membership. And I think these are all on the screen right now. So lifetime membership for the United States is $400, and that's actually tax deductible. And the annual is for $50. And in the Philippines, the lifetime membership is 4,000 pesos with
the annual is 1,000 pesos. Sorry.
The annual is 1,000 pesos. So yeah.
500 pesos.
500 pesos. Okay, so that's thing that's in there. So if you could do that, that would be great. We truly appreciate it. And so that will this will make it easier. Okay. Okay, so if there are no further comments, I would like to thank everyone for coming and attending this very momentous occasion for all our new members. We look forward to having new members in the future. And as I said, this is a very exciting part because these are the people that will actually, we are the ones that will move the organization forward and keep it active and relevant and make actually the Philippines move forward in terms of technology and science. And it's really gratifying to see that everyone from all over the country and also around the world are really involved with the organization. It's an exciting place to be, an exciting organization to be part of. So we hope to see you all in the future. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
I think the
Thank
data
Yeah.
science session might
Thank
still be
you.
going on.
Yes,
Data science ongoing.
Okay.
You might want to join
Yeah,
that.
nice to see you all. Okay, data science is
Bye.
probably still going on. I can hear my husband downstairs who's chairing it. So hope you can join that. Okay, good night.
Good
Good
night.
morning.
Thank you.